Okay, so I want to do a video really quick on the whole fact of, hey, parents, if you have a child, you need to wake up. I don't care how old your child is. If you are a parent, you have a child, clearly, obviously. Now, I have seen quite a lot on everywhere. A huge problem with TikTok, beyond the fact that it's owned and operated by the Chinese government, which we should all know because they publicly announced it on release of TikTok that, hey, we own this. We're putting this out here to watch y'all. And so beyond that, there are also a lot of undesirables on TikTok. Like the creepy dude trying to get in your little child's pants. Yeah, that creep. Or the creepy cougar woman who's just looking for little boys. Or whoever. It doesn't even, whatever. Anybody. Any pedophile of any kind. If you're after a child, you're a pedophile. End of story. Don't carry your excuse. Doesn't matter. Now, parents, if your child is old enough to be making videos online, you need to watch what kind of videos they're making and releasing. Because there is this one dumbarse in particular that I personally know. I know this stupid woman. Well, she's not a woman. She's a child herself in real life. And she lies all the time on there. That's like her whole thing. First she is, poor me, my parents never paid attention, I don't have a dad, and my mom's, gone all the time, and, I grew up in this richy rich area, so, richy rich parents, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple of videos later, she talks about how she grew up in a drugged out poor man's town, and how her mom was a drug addict. And then she does another one where she talks about how her mom was always there for her for everything. And it's like, dude, she lies constantly. I've known her mom for a long time. And her mom is not a drugged out POS. I personally don't like church or people that even go to church. Because if you have to go to a specific place of the Lord to speak to the Lord, then you're a bad person. If you have to absolve yourself of your sins, you're a bad person. You shouldn't have to be in fear of something in order to be a good person. You should just be a good person because that's the way you should be. Believing in God is not an excuse to be a good person. Like, religion aside, I don't care about religion. I don't care what you think. But for all those God people out there, this woman is an avid churchgoer. Now, that doesn't mean she's good or evil. I've seen plenty of people that go to church every day, and they are insanely, inherently bad, evil people. People that follow in the Word of God too closely tend to be insanely evil. However, this woman is actually a really nice woman. There's a few out there. I have met a few good churchgoers, no matter how few of them there actually are. I've met a few of them. And she's one of the good ones. She's not inherently evil. As far as I've known her, now, not to say she doesn't have a life undercover, but she's never seemed drugged out to me. She doesn't have any outward mental problems that you see on the outside. Now, I know in the long run this means absolutely nothing because the children are going to see more than somebody else. So, there is that. However, I do remember her taking her kids places. I do remember her specifically talking, about how there's no way drugs will ever be introduced in her home. Unfortunately, she didn't know that every single one of her daughters has been high as hell for the last, 7-8 years. And, and that's the other thing, too, is this girl tries to claim she's, 20, but her kid is 3 years old, and she was pregnant at 15. after getting completely train wrecked by, she admitted to 5 other guys. So, I mean, also let that sink in. A 15-year-old, 5 different guys. Got some pedophiles out there, man. She's not good to look at. The whole reason why the guys did it was because she was easy and they weren't good enough guys. They were assholes. They weren't good enough guys to be able to get a girl for real, so they had to go after the easy thing with its legs wide open, having, you know, all newcomers, you know, all comers come, you know, that kind of thing. She's a hoe. She's a hoe. She's an absolute hoe. Because she's still doing it. But beyond that, none of that matters. Point being is she did a tour of her and her parents' house because she isn't independent enough. She's not grown up enough to be able to have her own place. Yeah. So she did a huge tour of her parents' house that she's living in and showed people in the video where all the weapons are in the house, going, oh, you can't break in here. Here's all the weapons. This is where I got weapons at. And it's like, dumbass, you just told them exactly where to go for, to beat you, to kill you. Now, if you have children, you need to pay attention to their social media stuff, okay? You know, we're not talking about, oh, helicopter parenting and getting into business. And if you're a kid, you need to grow up fast enough to understand that that kind of attitude can get you killed, okay? You know, if you're a child, if you're an adult, and you're trying to do stuff like this, that kind of stuff will get you killed. There are plenty of videos out there talking about, oh, this innocent woman got her place broken into after doing a couple of cute, sexy little videos. And let me tell you, first off, she's not innocent. So, you know, don't give me that innocent woman crap. She's not innocent. She did it. She knowingly did it. And she paid the price for it. The price was her life, which sucks because I think she should have lived to have learned that lesson. But if whoever believes in God, if that's God's way and will, then, well, I mean, he did it. So, you know. And for any of you that says, oh, the devil did it. And let me remind you, all of God's angels, including the devil, were a piece of God himself. The devil is a part of God himself. Because unlike a bunch of y'all, I actually read the Bible growing up. Word for word, verbatim. Like, there was no in between, there was no priest doing references going, oh, this actually means this. I full-fledged read it. There was no misinterpretation. You know, there was nobody there to tell me, oh, well, you know, this whole section of the Bible, we'll just ignore this because I feel like ignoring it. No, I read it inside and out. And I know there are 500,000 different versions. They all say something different. Point being, little man, what are you doing? I need you to be careful. Please be careful. Hey, be careful. You better be careful. Back to the point of, you know, if you are a parent, if you have a kid, if you are a kid, do not post the layout of your entire home, because it doesn't matter how fast you go in a video. Just, oh, we're just going to ignore this section and then quickly swipe over it. You do know you can slow down video, and anybody can do a slow walkthrough of your video and a slow walkthrough of your home. Yeah, and pointing out the different weapons you have, guess what? You're just telling your enemies where those weapons are. So your enemies can get there faster than you because, well, they've had time to study it. chances are you're just doing it for a video and never touch or even look at your weapon again. Little man, please stop. Do not bang a hole in the wall, please. Please don't bang a hole in the wall, honey. Why don't you play with some of your toys? Go on, go play with some of your toys, bud. There you go. There's no reason to go banging a hole in the wall. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, you know, pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're posting. Lying about your posts, I mean, come on, people. You know, I know her over 500,000 followers don't pay any attention to the fact that every other video she's pulling crap out of her butt. You know, people don't notice that kind of stuff. But I mean, really, you know, and you know what's even funnier is she does all these videos about how, oh, I have mental problems, I have ADHD and schizophrenia and yada blankety yada yada, I have this, I have that, poor me. But I know personally that she has none of those problems. She's just a sociopath. With a child, mind you, which I'm a little worried about, considering how violent she can be towards people. And how she's just, she's a mess. Okay? She's a total mess. And just, this girl, man, she drives me crazy because she's such a chronic liar. You know? She's a complete psycho. She's talking all the time about how her baby daddy doesn't pay any attention to her and, you know, he's a horrible father to their child. And but then she immediately does a video 10 minutes later talking about, he's the greatest. He's there through everything. Like, girl, you know, creating lies for views? Come on. Please grow up. I know she's a child, but she's a parent now. All she's doing by doing this and all these videos is telling her future child's, you know, telling her child, as this child gets older, she's telling this child, oh, guess what? Mommy's a fucking liar, and it's okay. You know what that's gonna do? That's gonna make your child into a chronic liar, because mommy did it. Why can't I? And maybe that's where her problem lies. Maybe her mom is a chronic liar. But this girl needs to go get help. If that's her problem, then she needs to go get help. You know? If you're still stalking me and you're watching this, yes, I'm talking about you. Yeah, this whole thing is about you. And no, I'm not going to tell anybody your name because you're already self-absorbed and obsessed over bullcrap. And I don't want you to get more views because you don't need them. You need to go to a doctor's office and go get some help. Go see a therapist. Please, for the sake of your child, go talk to a therapist. Quit blasting your whole life, whether it's made up or real, because I'm sure there's a little bit of truth somewhere in there. But there's so many lies it's buried under, you know, your truth is buried under just mounds of lies. You need to go see a therapist. You need to figure out what your real problem is. Quit making up problems to get attention on the internet. And grow up. You're a parent. You're no longer a child. You gave up your childhood the second you started having Shreks. You gave it up. On purpose. The second you shot your first drug or however, whatever you did it, because guess what? Unlike you, I don't do drugs. So, you know, unlike you, I've never done drugs. I don't know anything about it. Pot is a drug to me. And for all you people that say, oh, pot's not a drug, or oh, it's a little different, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Whether pot works for you or not, I personally couldn't care any more or any less. It doesn't matter to me. Whenever I have tried to be around people that smoke it, I go into a seizure. It gives me seizures. whether it's medical grown or homegrown or imported or different strands even, because I know there's millions of different strands out there. I've been around people who have smoked it all, and guess what? It gives me seizures. So don't tell me weed hasn't killed anybody, because I know firsthand that it has, and it does. Okay? Because I've watched plenty of people. We had a guy at work one year, a couple years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago now, where he smoked so much dope, so much weed. I know there's a difference between the two. He smoked so much weed that he would come into work high, and our whole job was to operate forklifts. Yeah, he killed one of the women in the warehouse because he was so fluffing high on weed, nothing else. It's not like he was drunk. He didn't have anything else in his system. It was just weed. He smoked so much of it, he killed a girl in that warehouse with that forklift because he was driving around high as hell. So don't you dare tell me that smoking weed doesn't kill people, because a bunch of you mofos, you cannot keep yourselves under control. You can't do anything correctly. You know, y'all don't know when to do things properly or at the right time. And, you know, so don't, that's a lie. Oh, weed doesn't kill people. You are such a liar. It's not even funny. It's disgusting. Grow up. Anything and everything will kill you. An apple a day puts me in the hospital with ketoacidosis, eating my body and making me puke out my guts. So, you know, don't, which, by the way, come to find out, an apple a day does not keep the doctor away. That's actually a false saying that came from somewhere else. And modern day apples are also not what used to be hundreds of years ago when that saying first popped up. So, I mean, way back when apples were original, which they're all genetically modified because they don't exist in the natural world. But again, that's a whole level of research that a bunch of you dipsticks will never do. Call me a liar, call me a whatever, I don't care. Bunch of you dipsticks don't do enough of your own fluffing research yourself. So, I mean, how would you know? Most of you don't even know what your mom did in high school. So, you know. Hell, most of you probably don't even know who your real parents are. Not saying you're orphans, just the fact that a bunch of your mamas be cheating. But beyond that, at this point, I'm just ranting and raving because I am so sick of people's bull honky. Bunch of you are liars. Y'all lie about the dumbest crap. You all hurt each other for nothing. For nothing. You all hurt each other for nothing. You have no reason, no rhyme, and yet you do it anyway. And, you know, there's a reason. See, a lot of people say, oh, I'm antisocial, and then they have friends out the wazoo or they're polyamorous. Bullshit. You're fucking antisocial. I call bullshit. I'm actually antisocial. I hate people. I don't have friends, and I'm happy to not have friends. I don't talk to people. You know, I make my doctor's appointment when I need to, and I go through checkout, and I smile painfully, and I move on. I don't stand there and talk all day to random arses, and I know, you know, this is different. Right now, this is me ranting at a camera, and you guys are all watching it a long time after I've already recorded this. Because, to be honest, you don't know when I've recorded this. Who knows when I've recorded this? You'll never know. Or at least it's gonna take some serious sleuthing to figure out when I've recorded this, because believe it or not, you actually can find out where and when somebody has taken a picture, taken a video. It's all in the pictures and the video DNA, like, or you know what I mean, you know? If it exists, there's a date stamp attached to it. So, you know, you're not safe ever, anywhere. There's bad people everywhere. Let me put it this way. If you exist, if you are alive, you have eyes that are blinking, you have a thought running through your head, whether you do or don't, if you can move any body part in any way, shape, or form, if your heart is beating, if your eyes can blink, if you can see, if you can hear, if you can smell, if you can eat, guess what? There is evil in this world to counter you. Unless, of course, you are the evil, which most of you are.